going really. The way back seems easier than going to some really far away clinic from where I live. We gotta obey what the company tells you to do. You gotta go to that clinic and do your health check because they pay for it every year, annually. So yeah, I met another ALT or English teacher, and he said he was from, sorry, that tells you that there is like a storm, whatever. Yeah, it's pretty rainy today. So the guy was from the Netherlands, and it was really interesting because I don't see people from the Netherlands every day, especially in this country place. And so apparently he met his Japanese wife in Australia, and that's really cool because I met my Japanese husband in Hawaii, and so he followed her in her country. I'm like, and I just told him, yeah, it seems like we all follow the Japanese spouse into their country because I don't know why, because it's cool. So he has a little daughter, and they last visited the Netherlands in last Christmas. I was like, wow, that's quite a challenge to travel to Europe from here in pandemic. So going back home, he said, going back here was difficult. They took the wrong test or whatever, and then they had to stay quarantined for 14 days in a hotel. And I don't know, they ordered things on Amazon so they could entertain their daughter for 14 days in a room. It's like a prison, you guys. I don't know how they did it. If I stay in a hotel room with 5 kids for 14 days, for even 3 days, I would lose my mind. But they did it. Yeah, that was very interesting to see. And I'm trying to figure out where I am now right now. I'm just gonna turn. Okay. Anyways, it's been an interesting ride in the rain. And I know where I am. This is the highway exit. Okay, so today the boys come home early, no lunch at school, and tomorrow is just closing ceremony and starts the summer vacation. And the States, the summer vacation is almost over, from what I hear. From June to July, the end of July, August, they start school. The new school year starts. I know because I have a friend who is a teacher in the States now, and she used to be a English teacher here in Japan. Yeah. Basically, in my head, there's a lot of thoughts. There's a lot of stuff going on inside of my head. But when it comes to saying it out loud, like I'd rather write. Not good at really talking. But it's very interesting. Our branch president last Sunday had a very good talk, and I didn't really hear or understand everything that he was saying. So I asked for a copy of the talk, and he sent it to me in English. So I did. So I did have that talk, and I read it, and he shared a story about 2 guys. One guy came over for a coffee to visit his friend, and they were talking and nice and everything was fine, and then he just jumped, the host jumped up and he said, oh, let me just go wash the dishes real quick and I'll come back. And so the other guy's like, you're gonna wash the dishes? Like, what? Well, why? And so he's like, I don't do it because I don't get a compliment or a thank you from my wife. And so the host is like, well, why do you, I don't know, I think I've read that story before on the internet as well. It came across at some point, but he was pretty much saying like, why would I say something to praise my wife for doing the dishes or cleaning the house, because I live in the same house, and like sharing chores, and like it's my laundry as well, it's my dishes as well, it's my toilet as well, and I use those things as well. So it shouldn't be like her doing everything plus the job, and so I think our branch president was trying to implement the Christ-like attitude towards a family, because the culture here is brutal for women. I've come to understand that now. I see it at work, and I see it in general in here, and I've had Japanese friends telling me that Japanese men suck because they don't just treat the ladies well, and if you're not even a Japanese lady born and taught into that culture of obeying and serving and praising and cheering the husband for his success, and yet you're the one cleaning everything and raising the kids on your own, it's just so I guess his talk was about, and there was like a concept, the concept of I love you, saying to your spouse I love you and stuff like that. It made me laugh, to be honest, because I think I understood that a little bit, what he was saying. But I also remember watching this video on the internet of this Caucasian lady who is like with bald head and like Buddhist clothes, trying to explain to the Western world why people here don't say I love you and don't express their feelings with words according to the Buddhist culture and whatever. And so I remember dear husband posting that video on his Facebook, trying to justify why he doesn't, but it's not part of his culture to do that. And I was like, well, you should have thought about that before you married a non-Japanese person, honestly. Because where I come from, parents say to their kids say to their parents, kids say to their friends, relatives say to their relatives, everybody says that I love you, and people hug and kiss. And you come to this culture where you say I love you and you just receive this vague kind of like mumbo jumbo, and it just slowly kills you. It kills you. It just takes everything away from you. So here's a branch president trying to explain the concept of why the heck is important to say to your spouse I love you. For me that's just, I don't really care anymore at all about it. But it's good to know that church leaders are trying to teach those first, second generation of men in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Japan. I mean, he's not trying to tell them what to do, he's just expressing his opinion and what is the church culture, because church culture and Japanese cultures are, how can I say it, 180 degrees. It's just in church, or I wouldn't say just in church, like how the Lord sees it is man and a woman are equal, and how it's in Japan, it's the guy is the almighty and the lady is just submitting herself, complete slavery. And on top of that, you have to be cheerful and loving, and your house has to look perfectly clean and everything organized. And it's just like, what the heck kind of thing. So yeah, very sad, and very eye-opening, unfortunately. So that's that. I don't know what to say except that it's a bit too late now. Okay, it was a long drive. I will stop just for a second. Yep, we know it's gonna be rainy, stormy, whatever. I hear that thing in the car all the time. But yeah, let's go back to equality. Like maybe, just maybe, some wives here get pampered and loved and showed appreciation. But it really hurts when you know that you committed your life, you committed your everything, because I didn't bring much as a financial support into this marriage and family. So I always felt like it's a bit it's not my place to say, hey, let's do finances together. But I was taught at home to do that. We were doing finances together, and my mom didn't really have like we knew, like even my grandma, she had like, I remember when she received her pension, like both of my grandmas received their pension, and they would have envelopes for the electricity, for the water, for the other bills, and so they just put money there, and then the rest they just sort out for, because it was like it was communism back then, so it was a fixed price for everything. So you kind of like knew exactly how much it's gonna be, the water you use and the electricity or whatever. Now it's a bit different, but my point is, we grew up knowing and learning to save aside and the coins and whatever, because the saying, like, little drop by drop ocean, like we have that saying in Bulgarian. I don't know if it makes sense in English, but drop by drop it becomes ocean. So that's how we're brought up, and here I come and it's just a complete veil, and we have no idea what's going on. And the paradox is, now that like when you have a family and one spouse wants to pursue education so he can have higher education, so he can have higher pay, so he can support the family, that it's a process. You go to study, you learn, and you spend tremendous amount of time writing your dissertation and talking to people online, or like travel to your university. Like all that time being, I have been raising my kids, quite honestly, without much of his presence. And so that time, he's been growing intellectually and withdrawing family wise. And so now that I want a way out of it, I'm the one with just the bachelor degree from Hawaii, and I'm proud of my bachelor degree. I did study hospitality and tourism management, and I enjoyed every class I took. I enjoyed all my professors, and I learned a lot. But what I'm trying to say here is, isn't that ironic how, as the mom, of course I want to be the one taking care of my kids, and I want to spend the rest of my life with them, like, if possible, not like being with them when they're grown ups and stuff like that, but while they're growing. And I'm the one with the bachelor degree. I don't have master's or PhD or whatever qualifications besides my bachelor degree and my minor in Japanese, which is irrelevant. But the thing is, it's just really sad that when you hear that now that I want out, and I do need help, at least in the beginning financially. It's like, sorry, I don't, it's not none of my business that you didn't study while we were married together and stuff like that. Sorry, none of my business that you don't have a master and a PhD and I do. Sorry, it's not my choice that you want to leave out to not be here. Sorry, none of my business that any about me as a person. Sorry, I don't really care. Well, I'm sorry too. It's really sad if you say that, if you think that, if you said that, and what you thought, if you think like that, I'm sorry too. It's really sad because we did support, we did follow, we did believe. We I never thought I'm gonna end up like this right now at this moment, but here I am, and so there's no way back. And I'm sorry that somebody just saw me as an asset to his business as marrying a foreigner and decided to use that as a good boost for his English school and continue press forwarding with his education. And along the way, that the kids happen, and they are just like to check the box and the image of how great I am with I'm doctor now, and I have this family with 5 kids, and the wife is a foreigner, and we speak English at home, and look at me, come to my school, I'm a great guy. Sad, really sad. That's not how I see family being and functioning and going strong at all. It doesn't matter anymore though. It just doesn't really matter. After all is said and done, and looking back at all those years, I'm grateful that my kids grew up fairly healthy, and I have had the chance to grow together with them in bonding with them and telling me how my oldest son, he's worried about him because he has the same fear like him when I'm angry and not talking around the house, and just how worried he's about our oldest son, and how he is like him, always fearing. I'm like, also I'm now also the big bad monster as well. Okay. So I just got up and I didn't want to listen anymore, and I just went to my boys and talked to them. Last night I broke down in tears because I think it was the first time I realized that I was seen as nothing, and everything, all the efforts I had to try to keep this family together and make it look like it's great to have this family, everything was for nothing. I've been seeing as, I don't know. So I broke down in tears, and the boys thought it was because of them, because they were up until 9 p.m. upstairs playing games and on devices or whatever. It was nothing like that. But I did storm out of the room, and I just went in a different room, and the boys thought it was because of them, and I went and told them that it was nothing to do with them. It was nothing to do with them. They didn't do anything wrong that night, and that we should talk to each other when we have too much on our plate. I even explained to them the phrase, what it means to have too much on your plate. When you have too much on your plate and you just are not yourself, we should talk to each other so we can support each other, because we're all different. So we talked, and I held their hands, even though they're bunk beds, and I hugged them, and it was great. It felt good. My boys are not my enemies, and they know I'm not their enemy. They know mommy can get angry because of maybe poor choices, or because I'm trying to teach them something and they rebel against it. That's normal. All kids do. But they know at the end of the day, they're my everything. So that's that. It's not them that make me feel like nothing. It's not them that neglect. It's they're kids, and sometimes they say hurtful things, sometimes they do hurtful things, but they're kids, and if I want to understand, I have to go down to their level and understand and listen, mostly listen. Something that their parents failed to do throughout the years, and the result is obvious. So I believe in good relationships with people. I believe in good families. I believe my kids are great people. And mostly I believe in God, because He's been the one keeping me in one piece. Like, I'm still alive because of Him. Otherwise, I'll probably end my life long time ago. But He gave me a purpose. He gave me 5 purposes to be alive for, and I will never fail Him for that. I will never fail Him as a parent. Even if I have to work 5 jobs, I don't care. I will provide for my kids as much as I can, and I will seek help of friends as much as I can. So I hope at the end, when I meet my Savior, I'll have clear conscience, and I'll just cry, and we'll cry together, and it will be great feeling. It will be like I tried my best, and I love the children you trusted me with. Life should be happy. Life should be joy. Life shouldn't be slavery. Life shouldn't be living for years in a place you don't even want to be in, or trusting in somebody who sees you as nothing. Life should be creating good moments and go through the bad moments together. Life should be about people, not about devices. And I'm not talking about the kids. Anyways, I should go.